Yo, what's good? It's Casey Holmes coming at y'all with a new shoe review tip today on Shoe Goo, kicks. Don't forget ice cubes. Jumping straight into it, we're just gonna look at some of the high wear areas in skate shoes. Ollie area, stitching. Sometimes stitching is a little lower on different shoes, so it tends to catch. Here's an example on my switch foot. My switch foot actually needs a lot of repairing in there. As you can see, this is a brand new pair of shoes, but it's already starting to pop here. Probably gonna pop down there as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get that fixed up. We're gonna fix all that there. Same thing on the other shoe. We're gonna fix all that stitching. Keep it nice and snug so you can stay out there skating. So the first thing we're gonna do is just kind of give it. We're gonna try to get it even. I like to try to squeeze the Shoe Goo from the bottom, so that way it's not like a big junky ass tube after a while. All right. So once we get it nice and squeezed from the bottom on up, pretty much nice and ready to go. First thing I do is pretty much just start really slow, getting into the, not putting too much is definitely a thing. So maybe like a glob there. I'll put a glob here and the ollie. Now little mini globs is really all you need, guys, just to kind of keep that nice simple black and white look still going throughout the shoe. Of course, as you know, using Shoe Goo in the past, it can get quite messy. So it's nice to just kind of let the goo kind of just linger along that stitching area, so that way it's all nice and crisp for you when you do lay out the glue. Alright, you want to go all the way up. Don't worry about globs. Just try to keep it along the stitching. The cleaner it is along the stitching, the longer it'll last, and of course it'll look super good once you smooth it in. So now that we've pretty much got the Shoe Goo on the top of the shoe, here's a quick look at that. I didn't do the left one yet. This is the right foot. So you pretty much just want to take that ice cube and just kind of use it to direction the goo, and kind of keep it like nice and smooth. So you can use the sharp end of the ice to be able to directionize the glue. So that's pretty much just kind of keeping it nice and fresh. You can kind of smear it out a little bit with the sharp end. And as you can see, it's starting to get really nice and clear on there. And like I said, you definitely want to keep the goo away from the laces, so that way you're not, stuck with one pair of laces, Sometimes it's cool to use your finger to kind of steer it away. Yeah. And see, using that soft edge here, it keeps the ice really smooth. Don't worry about the water. It's nice to do this on a granite table or a top or whatever you got. You want to keep it nice and smooth. Try to drag it out in there. The ice cube is probably the only thing that I could think of that would pretty much smooth Shoe Goo out enough to even be able to skate smoothly without having to feel any extra shielding or, funny areas or anything like that. Sometimes you can use your finger to kind of directionize it a bit. And as you can see, it's starting to seal. Okay, you can touch it a little bit. The only thing that I would probably recommend during the application of the Shoe Goo is I just probably, like I said, keep it nice and smooth. Give it some time to sit in there. Same thing with this. You want to just kind of smoothen that in there. Keep it above the sole on the suede. There it is. And see, that's going to look really good when it's done because it's all nice and plattered on there. It's not all smeared and junk and gunky, You definitely want to keep the gunky feel away from it, so that way it just feels nice and natural when you're skating it. Doesn't feel like, too much. You could even put a little bit on that side stripe there. Let's get a close in look at that. Nice and applicable. Maybe a little bit here. Take a nice dry towel damp that out real quick. Once you do that, you pretty much just have a nice smooth silhouette that's, you know, nice and soft. And it starts to dry almost immediately, which is what I love about this stuff. You know, it skates super good, dries super quick. Even though there's a little water there, don't trip. Get a little bit of a towel or something, and you know, you just want to give it a tap to kind of pick that water up a bit, but you don't want to like take away from the actual Shoe Goo. So I would just kind of dab it, nice, just real smooth along the edges there, like an old pair of pants or something like that. Kind of damp it up. Oh yeah, starting to look really good. Starting to look really good. That's pretty much it, guys. You know, you could keep adding more layers of Shoe Goo, or you can kind of just leave it like this, you know. I'd probably add like a little more there. Higher wear areas, I would just probably put like a little more. Using that glob trick that I taught you guys earlier, just kind of using that to give more of a foundation of actually like where the most, you know, higher end areas are for, you know, problematic stitching pop. So, you know, I would probably just, like I said, put more of a glob down here, of course, to catch more of an ollie. Don't be afraid to dig in there too. That's one thing I didn't know. You could kind of dig in there, and if you get too close to the laces, you can kind of use your finger and kind of pull it off a bit, smoothing it out here to connect it. Yeah, it's really good. You could even use your finger to kind of like keep it like nice and sharp. All right, and that's pretty much it, guys. If you want to have awesome Shoe Goo application, or you just kind of want a shoe to last really long that doesn't necessarily last long, usually out of the box, there's the way to do it. And that's how you Shoe Goo any shoes. Keep it nice and smooth. You let that sit overnight, go skate in the morning. Have fun.